another important thing now also was the importance of learning financial love languages. I think that makes
in all these different facets of issues that needs to be processed, they each have to have kind of like a system.
I think when you were addressing something with me and then I kind of was just like whatever about it because I was feeling whatever I was feeling, but I didn't communicate that with you.
Okay, this is turning into a heart-to-heart, guys. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to our channel.
Welcome, family, to our humble abode.
This is Life with the Darlingtons. My name is TheDarlingtons, and I'm with the most beautiful girl in the world,
mamellophasiwe. To all those that have subscribed to our channel, thank you so much. We truly do appreciate it. And to those who haven't, please click on the subscribe button right now.
And please give this video a thumbs up and make sure that you click on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our uploads.
Yes! Welcome back to another one, you guys. So today, we are having a conversation about success in marriage.
And relationships.
Why did you actually randomly kiss me, man?
I don't know. And let me just say, this is one of my favorite times of the week when we sit here and spend time with all y'all beautiful people.
With the D Nation.
Yeah. And have these lovely conversations. I need me some water.
There is no water.
There is a little bit of water. Why did you finish the whole thing, babe?
Because I'm busy drinking the water, babe.
But it's two of us. Something like that. Alright, you guys.
Anyway.
So, we're having another great conversation today. But I'm serious, babe. Like, it's really one of my favorite times in the week. It's really one of my favorite times in the week to spend some time with the D Nation and have these conversations. I love it.
I'm glad, babe.
I love it. Really love it. So
it's why we do it. It's why we do it. Yeah, so I think it's just a very general conversation about whether or not we feel we've been, I guess, successful in our marriage and what quantifies it. Like, what qualifies us, feeling as though we've been successful. What makes a marriage successful? Right? So I have
not just marriage, but relationships.
Relationships. Two people in love with each other.
Friendships, siblings.
Really?
Yeah, I wanna get there.
Wow, that was not the angle I thought we were taking.
No, let's go. Let's rock.
Okay, let's see how this will work then. Because I have here two quotes. Couldn't decide on which one best describes or would best be fitting for the conversation that we are trying to have, right? And these do work on marriage though.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. A successful marriage isn't the union of two perfect people. It's the two imperfect people who have learned the value of forgiveness and grace.
Okay.
Which can be broadened into other forms of relationships as well.
Okay.
And the other one says, the success of marriage comes not in finding the right person, but in the ability of both partners to adjust to the real person they inevitably realize they married.
One more time.
The success of marriage comes not in finding the right person, but in the ability of both partners to adjust to the real person they inevitably realize they married. So the person you ultimately, inevitably will start meeting as you grow in your relationship, because we evolve, we grow,
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think relationships are quite complex, but at the same time they're not. Where, in my opinion, if we pose the question, how do you know if you're in a successful marriage or relationship, or how do you build a successful marriage or relationship, and any of those things? I've learned the most important thing is learning how to process issues and dealing with conflict. Initially I had thought it was more about the vision we have and how close are we to the vision that we have, and in my mind it was also quite vague, to say, so the vision we have is to be in a happy household, in a house where, I don't know, we play a lot, we have fun together, it's loving, and things like those. But I find it doesn't really give detail to, for example, the kind of conversation we're having today, in terms of, are you actually having a successful marriage, and how do you actually have a successful marriage or relationship, And I have concluded, to be successful in any relationship, the most important thing is processing issues, number one, and dealing with conflict, of which dealing with conflict is still processing issues, as a matter of fact. That's what I think. I think later on in the conversation I'll give meat to what that is, and stuff like that, but on surface value I think that's just it, processing issues and dealing with conflict, because I think if there's one thing that's inevitable in any relationship, whether you're at work with your boss, management, or anything like that, colleagues even, or you're in a relationship like we are, where we married, couple, boyfriend, girlfriend, or siblings in a household, or whatever it is, one thing that's inevitable is the fact that we are going to have conflict, and there are going to be circumstances that arises that are going to be uncomfortable for us. So how do we process all of that, and how do we actually deal with that? What is our approach to that? That's what I think.
I hear you. And as I was thinking about this conversation, the one thing that came to mind a lot was how a lot of the time things are easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
But that now doesn't mean they can't be done, or they shouldn't be done, right?
Yeah.
But I think if I'm to sort of bring it home, there are three things that are important, or are said to be important to make any. Okay, now that Sari Brodinide, but I think it still applies, yes, to any kind of relationship. But these are more directed to marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Communication, finance, and intimacy.
Yeah.
Right? Those are the three things that could make or break the union, right? Said to be. So, communicating. Damn, the past 2 weeks, I feel like I personally have struggled. Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
I've struggled.
Yes. I'm glad we actually said that.
Yeah.
Because me, I've just been quiet about it, like, if I'm honest. Like, there are things I've just been noticing there, and I've just, like, been quiet about it, like, letting it go. And also, like, I will say this also, on my part, I don't think I've been dealing with that well. Also, like, I haven't really been processing all of that effectively. What can I do about it? You know what I'm saying? Kappa, what is my contribution to that? A lot of the points that I actually want to get to in terms of processing issues is that, or rather things like those, but yeah.
But also, in the struggling, there were things that I feel were sort of making it difficult. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, were those things internal? Kappa, were they like projections from me or something like that?
I think there were times where I felt like, okay, maybe I am projecting and maybe I am, I thought a lot about, remember I introduced this Auntie Pena, and then she kind of told the story about her sister separating her husband and how she started projecting that into her own marriage and stuff like that. It started it played a lot in my mind in a way in situations I'd feel like, okay, maybe perhaps, I'm projecting my own fears or my own whatever that is not currently existing, so because of that now I feel a certain way, or but there were also situations where really, like you said, learn the way that you maybe handled it or you could have handled it, and then just felt like maybe the environment is not conducive, the atmosphere is not conducive for me to have this conversation, so it's little things like that I feel need to be considered also in the 2 points that you made. How did you say?
Processing issues and
dealing with conflict. It's not just a mere, let's just whatever.
I think all of it is really just processing issues, actually. Dealing with conflict is...
I think anyways, the two willing people coming together, because it's one thing, if it's one-sided, it's not going to work.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, in terms of communication, how then would you say you feel, despite the past 2 weeks, maybe, how's that been?
How's the communication in our marriage been like as contribution to a successful relationship? I think if you go watch our 1 year check-in, we'll probably link it somewhere there. I think we touched base on that a little bit, and I think, actually, I was gonna say it's almost like a year now where I can say, like with my chest, we've actually been doing great in killing the game. But I think we're close to a year now, where I'm talking specifically about the quality of our communication. So I think it helps a lot to improve in communication. And this thing you always say is actually an important thing for people to understand, to say it really takes willing people. And I'll always go back to this. In whatever relationship that it is, friendship, boss and employee relationship, management, siblings, lovers relationship, it'll always take two willing people. If the two of us are not actually willing to pour our hearts into this thing and invest our time in it, then it's just not going to work, because
if it's one-sided,
for the most part you're doing it alone. And that's where the danger is, and I think because you and I have invested within ourselves to say, I want this thing to work and I need to change and improve in certain things. There are certain areas I need to grow in. There are things I need to let go. There are new things I need to adopt. And that kind of mentality and that kind of thinking, I think because that's the kind of mindset we adopted, that has helped us a lot in the quality of our communication. I almost said conversation. In the quality of our communication, because ultimately it's about understanding the next person, and I want to go back to my point of processing issues. So this is what processing issues is. There's a conflict that happens, or there's a situation that arises, or something happens out of the ordinary that obviously challenges our happiness and our joy and our peace, right? And in that moment, the most critical thing is, how do you take it as an individual? is your first instinct to point a finger, or do you actually analyze this situation and ask questions? You know, and some of those questions to even pose to yourself. You know, and what I have found to be one of the most important questions is, what is my contribution in this circumstance? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's true that maybe, let's say hypothetically, it's your fault. You did something and you were wrong, right? But at the end of the day, asking myself what my contribution was in that circumstance or that situation where you were wrong, it's still important also, because there's catalysts and all these things that contribute to that moment of yours, which there could have possibly been a build-up and, you know, things like those, you know? So what was my contribution in creating that, you know? Or you can even ask it in a different way to say, what is my contribution into leading you to that state? You know what I'm saying? And from there, you start building it up and processing this thing. So processing issues for me has a lot to do with that, where for the most part, you're even okay with looking your own self in the mirror and say, what about me? Am I okay? You know, am I innocent in this whole thing? How can I improve? You know, what do I need to change? You know, and really get to the crux of this whole thing. Detail, you know. So I think in our relationship, we are growing into that direction where, as individuals, there's that element of maturity where we are growing as individuals and we are busy maturing to that point where one is able to look at themselves in the mirror and confront your own self, you know, because ultimately you're trying to understand yourself and improve in the areas where you need to improve, you know. So I think with that being said, our level of communication and the quality of our communication has really been effective to a point where we deal with conflicts nice and smoothly. And I think subconsciously we are able to identify, you know. But also I want to say this, I think I'm taking a bit of time, but let me just say this.
Yo, man, you're just going on a whole...
Excuse, but let me say this. I think we've also found our style of communicating. Okay. I think that's another important thing. Some other people have sit down so that they call meetings and then, you know, they have a name for that. You know, something was also proposed to us as a suggestion to say, you guys maybe should try this. And that didn't really work for us because it was something that was working for other people and it's very effective for them, you know. But I think for us, when we started taking walks and all that kind of stuff, that started working a lot for us, where that environment, I don't know what it was about it, but there was a lot of fresh air and it actually allowed us to communicate, you know, where obviously everything is okay. And I think also the time of us establishing these conversations was not because there was something wrong. It wasn't because, like in that moment, we were unhappy and, you know, stuff like that. I think it was in a time where we had made a decision, Vela, to say we want to get out of the bad places and permanently get out of the bad spaces. You know, so how are we actually going to achieve it? I think us taking walks and that stuff, I think that did the trick. Yeah.
Okay. And as you're busy speaking now, the quoting that we just read, you know, about extending grace and having forgiveness. Giving, do you give forgiveness? Do you have forgiveness? You give it. Forgiving and forgiving, right?
Wow.
So,
I don't think I've ever thought about that. I think both of them, though. Hey, all the English teachers must just help us in the comment section. Do you give it, or what do you do, or do you have it?
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. So, Shapa, forgiving and extending grace, it's actually a constant. That one, inevitably realizing the person that you are in this relationship with, right? It's so important because even as we kind of mention, you know, maybe the past 2 weeks and how you then say, you kind of kept to yourself in not wanting to address anything and just what I want sort of thing. It's
not
in those
necessarily
moments.
that, Aski. It's not necessarily that. I think I just didn't know how to handle the situation and deal with the situation. So I just let it be and let it slide. Kind of like let me reduce myself from the situation.
Okay, but I think it's in moments like those where you then kind of need to apply these things, you know, and realizing, oh, okay, so in a situation like this, maybe it's difficult for this person to do 1, 2, 3 or to open up like this. So how can I then help the situation? Because it's not so much of you know, but how can I help them get to point along where we can actually, you know, more where we, you know, it's just extending that grace. I'm thinking also maybe about times when you're not okay. You know, I'm having to learn how to deal with you in those spaces because you're not someone who likes addressing things there and then. You like having your moment, give you time and that sort of thing. And I'm like on the opposite side of the spectrum. I'm just like, let's not let this hang because it'll attention and what. But you need to process things, really calm down and all of these things, right?
Because I'm extremely emotional. I think that's the reason why.
So it's just now us sort of having to deal with each other. I don't need you to ignore me. How about now? Sharp. You understand what I'm saying? And you need me to give you a bit of space. How sharp.
Don't ask me these questions and try to get all this information out of me. Yes. That in itself becomes annoying.
Yes. And then now, 2 extra hours.
What? 2 extra minutes? What are you talking about?
Woo, child. Okay, anyway. So, yeah, it's just that extension of grace.
Why are you releasing our secrets now to the people?
It's a conversation. We are talking about these things, right? Because I think it's just been heavy on my heart, actually, if I'm honest.
Okay, why? The reason I'm asking why is because you're making it sound like there have been things that have been happening and you've been...
For me personally, I've been going through things, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I didn't know or realize then how much of these things you've been going through, Kappa, the effect of what you've been going through impacted thing, how much that has been. Okay.
Yeah. So I put this money, like I'm saying, where it's just
that
extension.
Okay, this is turning into a heart-to-heart, guys.
Okay, anyway. So I think we can move on from that one. Yeah.
Are you sure though there's nothing you want to
baby,
okay.
Don't do that. Like I'm saying, it was just where I thought about those two, to the extension of grace and that constant forgiveness in a situation where maybe you then need to be understanding or okay, mutonana maybe acted out of, yes, it still would need to be addressed, to say we're not enabling the behavior thing or just because you feel justified or whatever, or nasekili just because I feel justified, or he then does something maybe because he feels justified and stuff like that. In that moment, you know, I could possibly just give him that grace, you understand? I feel like it's because of what is happening with him, but later it would definitely need to be addressed to say, okay, but that's not okay. This is right. Or even with me, remember that in one of our videos we spoke about it. I think when you were addressing something with me, and then I kind of was just like whatever about it because I was feeling whatever I was feeling, but I didn't communicate that with you. jalo ke ba di
Hey, ga re nke selo tse bohloko,
so having to learn that or in that situation, that's not okay, man. Stuff like that. So second point, finances.
Wait, before we go to finances, do you feel like in this, not in this week, in everything you just said now, referencing to the past 2 weeks, do you feel like what you didn't receive from me was the element of me giving grace or?
Yeah, I think just effort from your end, just to say, I can see, okay, my partner has sharp. What can I do about it? Or maybe in the moments where I do mention something, and then maybe, the reaction high be, and then we start seeing me change. Just applying yourself and just...
Yeah. So in essence, you would have wanted me to draw a bit closer.
Yes.
Than what I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that understanding and that realizing, okay, sharp.
So it's not necessarily something I did, it's what I didn't do.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, next point here.
Finances. Okay.
Very big thing there as well.
Very big thing there, but like I'm saying, for me, everything in my mind has just boiled down to processing the issues,
Okay.
In the issue of finances, what's our system to processing that issue, because I think another thing that's becoming very apparent to me, Kore, in all these different facets of issues that needs to be processed, they each have to have kind of like a system. So the issue of finances, what's our process like to processing that issue? What's our system like of processing that issue? You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately we're trying to get to a conclusion, I guess, that is desired by the both of us, obviously. So how do we get to that point? Because things like finances, either they make or break you guys. You know what I'm saying? Because people talk a lot about, I remember even in our marriage counseling, our pastor spoke a lot about what happens in other households. Kore, my money is my money, your money is your money, and these things don't have a meeting place or a meeting point, And then now ultimately, I don't know what you did with your money, you don't know what I did with my money. There is no sense of accountability anywhere, and those just causes fights, because now who must pay for electricity? Who must buy the grocery in the house? Who must pay the bills, the insurance bills for the cars? Who must do this, who must do that? Ultimately, I start feeling like I'm carrying all the pressure of the house and you're not doing jack. You're feeling like there's so much pressure on your shoulders about the responsibility and all these kind of things, but none of these things are really spoken about, and we don't even have a system of how do we actually govern our finances and manage our finances. Something which I feel we ourselves haven't really gotten to the T. You know what I'm saying? To the point that, number one, I think to the point that we have to, and even to the point that even we would like to. I think we're just doing okay, I really think we're just doing okay, but it can be so much better where our finances can literally increase exponentially, and you know what I'm saying? Which, like I'm saying, speaks to the process and our system of processing this issue of finances. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think it's really by the grace of God. How shojalo? Like, it is true that we're kind of just like,
winging it.
Yeah, honestly. It's really by the grace of God that we are getting by, and like we don't have any issues and but another important thing now also was the importance of learning financial love languages. I think that makes...
Okay.
Was it called financial love languages or financial languages? I think it makes understanding each other a lot easier, even in dealing with each other and processing the internal accounts or developing a process that can work for the household or for the home. Not constantly wanting to change the next person or fighting to there's constantly going to be tension, but just understanding, okay, so my partner is a spender, let's say, but in their spending, obviously I have recklessness now, and those go without saying. Let's not do that. But I think if only an understanding, your partner being a spender or let's say saver, I think it's easier to use the example saver actually. Also understand in my partner being a saver has so a stingy. Because when you take it that way, there's obviously never going to be a time more understanding your partner's thinking around certain things, because when you're constantly thinking, fella, we're not stingy. Exactly. But if you understand that your partner's language, it's easier to kind of deal with them or have conversations around finances, in a way that is satisfactory to both of you, where you're both satisfied. Got the conversation that you just had is I'm going to bring this to the table. Which one
are you? Are you a big spender or a big saver?
I think that's something we really need to look into. Or how do you actually deal with money? Because growing up, I was a big saver. Like, I was really, really a big saver. I think I'm a big spender.
I
didn't spend money.
I think I'm a big spender. Oh, excuse. No, the reason why I think I'm a big spender is because however when you'll have $100 just sitting there, not knowing what to do. In my mind, I know exactly what to do with it. Even if it just means I'm just gonna buy some chips, go check out.
Hey, that's my point. I'm not saying
instead of just leaving it there too. Oh, I'm sorry. Big lover. Right,
not so much for but I saved money like a lot. Like constantly sharp. I did things I did
the
spend
discipline of
a
just
lot.
keeping money.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't have. As a result, money is leaving me more than it stays with me. It's not really about how much of the money you're actually spending, big spender. It's just the fact that the money is just constantly
spending. But I think now as an adult, though, I think there's been like a slight but because now we are adults and there are responsibilities, or when it feels like you're constantly spending money and it's harder to save. And as though it's harder to save and stuff like that. So I think it's an understanding those. I'm gonna understand that those basics. It's easier, like I'm saying, developing a process that works because I understand and has spent delay on the fruit because I don't know spend but just understanding it's a language high. They're not being reckless, but this is how they are showing their love. And then now intimacy being the last point. I think we've been doing well. Like affection for one hasn't been a thing. It used to be a problem when we were dating.
It was lacking.
Yes, my husband was like he wasn't awake.
What?
He really wasn't awake. Like affection, it felt like affection didn't exist to you when we were dating.
No, babe, but this is just the difference between men and women.
No, babe, you get men who are more affectionate than their women.
Yeah, but doesn't that have to do a lot with who they are and the kind of background they have and all these things?
Exactly.
Hey.
So it has nothing to do with men and women.
It does. I'm not chilling with my friends holding hands there.
Maybe you're contradicting yourself. What are you saying? You're contradicting yourself.
But what my point is, I didn't grow up in a world where there was a lot of affection around me.
That's fine.
Hey, so your expectation was for me kibela affection, and I don't even know what it means actually.
Okay,
even
exactly. That's
You know
what
what
I'm
I'm
saying. That is exactly what I'm saying.
yeah, but now you made it sound, I don't know.
Yeah, baby, clear. No, say that fair, and that's okay because
Oh, but that's exactly what I'm saying.
it's okay though.
But
But
it's-
say that
but it's
because
not
you
like
didn't
it's-
come from a world where it was a thing for
But
you.
it's not how da though, babe.
Oh, no, say to be here.
That's better.
Oh, no, say okay.
But of course, like I knew about affection and all these things, but I'm just saying it's just not a part of.
Yes, it didn't come naturally.
Hey,
for
exactly.
you.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
fine. I'm not saying
That sounds so much better. It just didn't come naturally.
that's fine.
Yes.
It just didn't come naturally, and
See? That
it
works.
it seemed like something that didn't exist in his world
Yeah.
at the time, right? So yeah, it has definitely like changed a lot since then. Obviously,
Yeah, improvement. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. A man is working on himself, man, trying to, all these things I've said this far.
so yeah. In that case, from my side, I'm very very affectionate. Like physical touch is
Yeah.
my number one love language. So it's a plus for me. I love it.
But I think intimacy is important in relationships, man. Where, for me, in my mind, intimacy is just a place for you to be able to connect
Yeah.
on another level. I don't
Deeper
know.
level.
Yeah, I don't know. Are we calling it a spiritual level or what is it?
deeper level.
A deeper level, yes. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that level is just in conversation,
Yeah.
and sometimes that level is in an act, a specific act, you know what I'm saying, where somebody like your partner comes through in a way that maybe you need it in that specific time, be it just rubbing your feet and it's something that you really needed, you didn't know that you did, but you know what I'm saying. What? Don't be that girl. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I think intimacy is extremely important in that sense. You know what I'm saying? Not just going to Madagascar.
Yeah.
To Paris, so.
Marileona hle, I dule ile abze.
Ziggy, hi.
I dule ile abze. Guys, speak to your partners if you're not happy, please. Like, if sex is not hitting, please talk to your partners if you're not happy.
What's going on in this segment of the video?
I'm really just saying that it's so important. I can honestly not imagine if, things were not...
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Please. And I don't know, are we comfortable talking about?
I don't think we are, because we've never actually spoken about it in public. Not with anyone, as a matter of fact.
Not in public, I mean us together. Are you comfortable saying, baby, you are
I'm not happy.
Hey,
yeah.
but I'm speaking specifically about when there's something that you want to address, to say, well, Mana, baby, when you put that finger on my ear,
it's not good.
it's not good. It's not good, and when like that finger on the ear is your thing, that we haven't, but all of these other ones, I think we speak about it all the time.
Yeah, look, I mean, we're not experts in this area, and I think for you and I, it's just always been a conversation like any other conversation within our marriage, and it's always came naturally also, just as like any other conversation in our marriage, But I would say the most important thing that I would encourage people as a take home from this video, I think the element of processing issues.
Back to this.
Yeah. I think the element of processing issues. I think if people could learn how to process issues more or better, I think the world would be such a better place. Because I realize how processing issues has a lot to do with almost every area of our lives. How I process issues as a business leader is also a different conversation, critical as well, you know. So I think if we were to learn and adapt that into our relationships, it would really add so much value. Yeah, you know, because the idea is for you to be able to analyze the situation for what it is, you know, and to also be able to look yourself in the mirror and confront your own self and, you know, be frank with yourself when there's a need for that, improve when you need to, you know, and change when you need to, adopt what you need to, do away with the things, and learn the things that you need to, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, for me, I think that's my take home from this video.
And that is it from the Darlingtons.
Yeah, so any thoughts, suggestions, ideas, you know, please share with us in the comment section. Personal experiences,
please
you know.
leave us a comment.
We'd definitely like to hear from you guys.
Please do like this video. Please do subscribe if you haven't. I mean, if you've gotten to this part of the video, that means there's something that you like about this channel. So please do subscribe, please like, please leave us a comment, you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.